Hello everyone. Today we're going to learn how to send a proper email. So this is a review of a lesson that we did during the year. Some of your teachers mentioned that you guys would find this to be useful, so we're going to review it again for this week's lesson. So first thing you want to do to access your school email is you want to open up any web browser. So a web browser can be Google Chrome, it can be Firefox, Internet Explorer, or Safari. So for today, we're going to use Google Chrome. So you're just going to find it on your desktop and double click to open it. Okay, so from here, the easiest way I found to access your email is to up here in the address bar at the top, you're going to type office.com and then just push enter on your keyboard. And that will take you directly to the site. So if you're not already logged in, you're going to log in with your school email address and the password that you use to log into the computers at school. Unless you've had it reset while we've been out, then you're going to put that password in. Okay, so the program that we use for email is called Outlook. So you're going to click on Outlook. It's the first icon that shows up once you're logged in. Okay, so to start a new email, you're going to click on the new message button, and that's located in the top left-hand corner here. So we'll click on that. And it'll open up a blank email over here on the right side. Okay, so to start off, the to field, TO, right here, this is who you're going to send your email message to. Now, if you're sending it to a teacher, their name will automatically autocomplete as you start typing it. So if I want to send this to Dr. Zerlo, I'll start typing her name in. It'll show up here in this menu. I'll click on it once to add her to the field. Okay. The space directly under that, where it says CC, this stands for carbon copy. This is if you want to copy an additional person on an email. So if I'm sending an email to Dr. Zerlo and I want Mr. Phoenix to see it, I could copy him on it. You don't have to put somebody in here. This is only if you want an additional person other than the person that you're addressing in the email to see the email. So I'm just going to add Mr. Phoenix in here. And then the subject line. Okay, so I've noticed a lot of students like to type their entire email out in the subject line. So what the subject line is actually for, this isn't to type the whole email in. So what you're going to do is you're going to put one or two words that says what your email is about. So if I'm emailing my teacher about a specific assignment, I want to put assignment, and then maybe just to be more specific, week 2. So then the teacher knows which assignment it is that I'm asking a question about. Okay. Then the big space right underneath the subject, this is where the body of your email is going to go. So the body of an email should always start with a proper greeting. So a proper greeting could be dear, and then the person's name. So dear Dr. Zerlo, and then make sure you have everything capitalized properly. And then after the person's name, you're going to put a comma and click enter and start your email. Make sure you're always friendly and have a friendly tone with your email. So let's just make up a quick email here. So I was okay. Then when you're finished with your message, you're going to click enter to go to the next line, and you're going to put a closing. So it's always really, really important to make sure that you put a proper closing. So you can just, a lot of times I like to put thank you. You could put sincerely. You could put have a nice day. Okay, so after you put your closing, you're going to put a comma again, enter, and then your name. Okay, simple enough. So that's just to review again. The to field is the person that you're going to send it to. CC is for carbon copy. So that's if you want to add an additional person to the email. It's not necessarily going to be written to that person, but you want that person to see what the email is about. The subject, again, can be just a few words to describe what the email is going to be about once they open it, so they have an idea of what to expect. And then in the body, you always want to make sure you have a proper greeting. Your message, you want to make sure it's always friendly and gives as much detail as possible to describe the problem or question that you're having. And then here at the bottom, always a proper closing. So you put your closing, comma, and then the next line, you're going to go down and put your name underneath. Okay. And then real quickly, I just want to kind of review some of these icons down here at the bottom. So if you want to kind of format your email a little bit, you can do that. So if I want to, for example, change what this text looks like in the body, okay, I have to highlight it first. So you're going to click and drag and highlight everything that you want to change. Okay, once it's highlighted, then you can come down here. So the first one I'm going to talk about here is the font. So the font changes what your text actually looks like. So after you highlight your text, you're going to click on font, and it's going to pull up a menu of all different options. So you can kind of play with this a little bit, see what you think looks good. But it's also important too to make sure that the font you choose is easy to read, because you don't want to make it difficult for the person to read. Okay, so that'll change the font. The one directly next to that will change the size. So if you want to make it a little bit bigger, you can by clicking that. And then bold. This'll darken the word. So if you have a specific word you want to accent, so let's just say I want the person to pay close attention to the word assignment. I'm going to highlight that word. Whoops. And then I'm going to come down here where it says bold and click the bold button. And then you're going to notice that that's a little bit darker than the rest of the text. And then the same thing for these two. So this will italicize a word. So if you want to just make something look a little bit different, make it stand out, again, you're going to highlight it and then come down here and click italicize, and it kind of makes it look a little bit different, you can see. And then also there's an option to underline as well. So you can underline words. Okay. In addition to that, you can also highlight. So if you want to make the background of a word a different color, again, highlight it and then come over here to the highlight option, and it'll give you a bunch of colors so you can choose. So if you want to be a little bit creative in your message, you can do that as well. Okay, so that'll change the background of a word. Now, if you want to change the actual color of the letters, you could, it works the same way. Again, highlight the word and come down here where it says font color. So that'll change the color of the actual letters. So if I want to make these purple, you can see it changes it here. Okay. Then the other useful piece of this is if you're sending an assignment to a teacher, you're going to need to attach it to an email. So if you want to email an assignment to somebody or your teacher, you'll have to actually attach the file that you've been working on. This file can be a Word document, it can be a PowerPoint, it can be an Excel file, it can be a picture. Sometimes you'll take a picture with your phone. I know that some of you have been doing the work on paper and taking pictures of that and sending it. So this is a way that you can attach that to an email. So all the way down here at the bottom, you're going to see a little paper clip. Okay, so that's the icon for attaching. You're going to click on the paper clip, and it's going to open up a menu here. You'll see a couple recent things that you've opened here. So if you actually see your assignment here, you could just click on this and it'll attach it to the email. But if you don't see it in this list, you have two options: browse the computer or browse cloud location. So browsing the computer will attach a file that's saved directly on your computer. So if you've been working on it on your computer and you've saved it to your desktop or you've saved it to your documents, this is the option you're going to choose. Okay. If you've used OneDrive and you've worked on it in Office 365, it's stored in the cloud, so you're going to browse cloud locations. Okay, so for this instance, I'm going to choose browse cloud locations because I know I have some things on there. So you'll click on that, and it'll open up a window of all the things you have saved on your OneDrive. Okay, so I'm going to just choose one of these to add. And you'll see once I choose it, there's a little blue check mark next to it. That's how I know it's selected. And then I'll click the next button here at the bottom. I would recommend to share it as attach it as a copy. That'll make a copy of the document that you have on your OneDrive rather than sharing it as a link. Because if you share it as a link, you're going to send the same document, the same file to that person so they can change it if they wanted to. So if you want to avoid having people change your work, I would attach it as a copy. So it makes another copy of your assignment. That way nobody can actually change it. So if they do change it, they're changing their own copy and your copy will be left alone. So we're going to click attach as a copy, and you're going to see right here, it'll attach it and a little bar will go across. And once that bar disappears, it means it's attached totally. And then when you're finished attaching everything, you can send the email. So now we're ready to send. So two places where the send is. So there's a blue send button right here. So you would just click that and it'll send. And then there's also one here at the top that'll send it as well. And that's it for our lesson today. Make sure that you check Teams for the assessment on this lesson. There will be a 5-question quiz. So make sure you get that in by the end of the week. Thank you and have a good day.